Happy Wednesday and welcome to the Small Business Marketing Q&A show. I'm your host, Rebecca Bertoldi, and today I am answering the question, do webinars really work for small businesses? And I have to say yes is the simple answer, but let me get into why a little bit as well. But before I do, make sure that you are following the Small Business Marketing Q&A show so that you are kept up to date anytime a new episode is coming out or when I'm going live just like this. So let's talk about webinars. 61% of marketers are using webinars in their marketing plan. So this is kind of a big deal, especially since everything is really there's a lot of working from home right now, and a lot of people are running their businesses from home. Webinars are a great way to connect with your audience and build that relationship even though you can't meet in person. So some of the things that we can do during our webinars, we can showcase our expertise. For example, shameless plug for myself, tomorrow I'm hosting a masterclass that is talking about hosting webinars. So a lot of my clients do webinars each month to generate more leads. So I would love to be able to help them close the deal after I've sent all of the people to register for the webinars. So there's so many different ways that you can showcase your knowledge. You can do things really where you're highlighting different topics and showing people what you have. You have the option. This doesn't have to be necessarily something that you have a sales pitch at the end. Just know that webinars come in all different shapes and sizes, all different lengths, and they don't necessarily have to be selling at the end, even though a lot of us do that. You can do it solely to get people to add to your email list, which if you've watched other episodes of the Small Business Marketing Q&A show, you know I'm a big fan of, because a good solid email list is your best ticket to sales. So we can showcase our expertise. We can make these a customer perk. So just again, as an example, my webinar tomorrow, I invited all of my clients to come for free because it's something I want them to know and I'm happy to present to them. And even though I try bits and pieces when I'm talking to them on their check-in calls, there's no way I could actually spit out that much information on our check-in calls. So I want them all to attend. I want them all to learn at once with me. And I think it's going to be great. So you can also start creating connections between you and your prospective clients, customers, whatever you want to call them. So this allows you to really, people get to know you. They get to see how you are. How is it to work with you? How is it to learn from you? You get to give them the opportunity to get like a small window looking through so that they can see what it's like having you in their corner, right? So some of the things that you may want to consider while you're hosting your webinars are making sure that your audience is happy. And this I'm going into a lot of detail tomorrow during my masterclass. However, we want the registration to be super easy, especially like if they're already on your list, a one-click registration is ideal. We want them to have the features that they're looking for. 81% of webinars offer a Q&A at the end. And many people, the attendees, are definitely enjoying that and taking advantage of that. 42% of attendees say that the presenter can make or break their webinar experience. I totally agree with that. I have been on webinars where it's just like so boring. There's not enough visual going on for me, and I have to stop and maybe watch the replay or listen to the replay at some point if they're not visually stimulating for me. Another thing that you can do is when you're setting up your scene, like what's behind you shouldn't be distracting. So I shouldn't see animals walking by. It shouldn't be things that are overpowering me. Like if I had a bunch of stuff up on my wall, maybe a bunch of notes, or even if I had like a vision board behind me, I think you would honestly be focused more on what's on my vision board than what I'm saying. So make sure that your backdrop is nice, but not overpowering. And speaking of replays, if you do send the replay out, 36% of people are watching those replays. So a lot of times what we see, especially right now, and it's been a little bit weird with the way advertising is going, with everything, aligning with what's going on in our country. But the replays really give you an opportunity to get in front of that many more people. So don't discount them. We have seen hundreds of people signing up for some events, and we only get, less than 100 showing up, or less than 50 showing up in some cases. So it does happen, and not everybody is going to be there and live exactly when you need them. But making sure you have that replay and that it's easily accessible, and you definitely want to put it on a timer too, so that it's not available just forever. We want people to act and within a certain amount of time. So if we have people that are acting within that certain amount of time, we know that they're interested in what you have to say. So that can also help to weed out anybody that's not necessarily so interested in what you're talking about. We want to make sure that you have a good ROI, right? Good return on investment. So having these webinars will help you to build that trust with customers. It will help you to showcase your expertise. And they don't even have to be necessarily, it can be some educational and maybe some networking. Like, you can really mix this kind of stuff up. But the bottom line is you want to make sure that you have decent recording equipment, that you have a good internet connection, and you have a plan when you go live. Because sometimes, if we're kind of winging it, it's not always going to come across the best way. Not unless you're one of those people that winging it just always works, or they do better when they're under pressure. Really try to have a plan in place so that you can show them, the attendees, that you're on it. You've got all of this mapped out, and you are the person to work with. It can be a very powerful tool. So I do recommend that if anybody is kind of on the fence with webinars and whether you should offer them or not, I say go for it. And I can tell you that it may be a couple webinars before you really start to get people to show up live, but that's okay. Keep going with it anyway. Practice that webinar and get some time under your belt. And then I would definitely recommend that you always watch your recordings and try to view them from the way an attendee would view them. We can't always control, who's going to be there, but we can control what we're saying. We can control how we present ourselves. I have learned that confidence is key in these situations. You want to be as confident as possible when you're presenting your information, because if you're projecting confidence, people will feel confident in you. So I know I'm actually told quite a bit that it's because of the attitude I have when I talk about digital marketing that people sign on with me. And that's probably true. I get so excited when I talk about data. So, and a lot of people don't get excited when they talk about data. So it is something that I'm able to put out there and show that, I'm in this stuff. I eat, sleep, and breathe advertising and marketing tactics. So I would want people to have that trust in me, to take my advice and or come to work with me. Okay, so to recap, you are going to put a webinar on your calendar. Give yourself some time, give yourself a month or so. Put the webinar on your calendar. Make sure that you are promoting this to all of your email subscribers. You can share this on your Facebook page. Definitely go live if you can. There's a variety of ways you can promote it, but definitely try it out. Everything is worth testing in our business once, right? I think webinars will be a good success. And your first one, you can invite everybody, invite your friends, people that love and support you. Always a good idea. So make sure that you are reaching out and trying to get as many people to that first one as possible, because it'll at least, if nothing else, be a wonderful way to practice. Okay, so if you're going to do it, I would love to hear what you're going to present on, and maybe I can come join and watch. I hope you've learned a little bit about webinars for small businesses, and I hope you definitely try it out. And tomorrow, don't forget, I'm hosting Mastering Webinars, and it's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll put the link right here in the notes so that you can register today. I hope you have a fabulous day. I hope you've learned something new today. And I hope we see you next week. Bye-bye. Have a fabulous week.